Welcome back to another episode of the It's Only Kids Football podcast, where me and Mike talk about how much we hate football, kids, our family, and doing this bloody podcast when everything is shit. Mike, my co-host, assistant manager, fellow gooner, and glutton for punishment, will be joining me to discuss our last two games, both hugely differing outcomes as we swing from one end of the emotional spectrum to the other. It's been a fortnight of valuable but very tough lessons, and an Arsenal result that didn't help my mood. So let's get into it. Mikey C, how you doing? Are you ready to quit football for paddle?
Yes, is the short answer. I fucking love paddle. We need to play paddle. It's only kids paddle. That might do well.
Well, someone told me the other day that they're a boy that used to go ballers, he's now doing paddle. I never knew kids did paddle.
I didn't think kids did paddle.
It's an adult thing in
It's
my
like
mind.
a middle-aged adult thing.
Yeah.
When you can't really run around a tennis
Exactly, not
court.
really athletic, bit crap at everything, but you play paddle. But we're a bit crap at football, so and coaching, and
that's why we love paddle
and parenting. So, before we get into all of that, what have you been feeling? This is the day after Arsenal lost the Carabao Cup final.
That one was a bit of a shitter, wasn't it? It was. Don't want to get into that too much, but we just didn't really turn up, and especially after the first 15 minutes. It was a bit like us, really.
Yep. That was
we're constantly having similarities.
We are. It's like insane how closely linked we are. But before we get into our games, which obviously people are here to feast on our misery, we want to talk about something that isn't miserable. It's a really exciting and happy, with a good vibe campaign. We're really excited to be part of it. We've been doing this for almost 2 years now, and all of it has been geared towards how do you make football better for kids by upskilling and educating the parents. And often what happens is parents get caught up in the emotional moment and they shout stuff at their kids. But we thought if they had a visual reminder of like why they need to just keep it positive and encouragement, and or like some instructions or whatever, rather than shouting, having a go at your kid, moaning at them for not doing what you want to. If there was a visual reminder while it was there, that would maybe snap you back into doing the right thing. So we've teamed up with VC, and we're starting a new campaign called Our Game, Our Shirt, and we want the audience to be the lead designer. Now, the mission of this campaign is simple. We want to celebrate the true spirit of youth football. This shirt should be a powerful reminder to every adult on the sidelines that this game belongs to the kids and not the parents. So we're going to want kids to design a shirt. Mm-hmm. We want them to think about what makes them happy on the pitch. Maybe it's a phrase that motivates that kid, or a word that describes how football makes them feel, or even a message you wish your parents would remember when they're cheering or shouting at you, like, shut the fuck up, or something.
Alex is thinking, great, we can clip all of that up, and now you've ruined it.
But yeah, like, what do you like, what are you hoping to see from people that are going to be like kids coming up with these designs? And what fun can they have with it? What do you think Raf would put on the shirt?
God knows. Who knows what that kid will come up?
Have we discovered all the fish in the sea?
Yeah. He'll start designing something, like start drawing a house. Why have you drawn a house, Raf? I don't know. Just like drawing houses. All right, cool. What does that mean for you and football?
A big fish have a big fish on his. On the
to be honest, I'm just excited to see some drawings. I think it's, again, we speak on behalf of the kids all day long. We say, we basically give them the answers when we ask them a question. And this is just total freedom. We don't want any parents like leering over their shoulders. If they want to draw a fish, let them draw a fish. Do whatever you want. Have a bit of fun. Half term coming up. Let them have this as an exercise. It might kill a bit of time as well as a parent. You can go off and do your own thing. Get your VPN sorted. He's thinking of fuck, another clip ruined. But yeah,
can we get through one episode without talking about it? Can we?
I don't think so.
I know. Okay, right. So yes, back on track. Now, how do you enter this competition? I hear you all shouting at your podcast players. Well, firstly, you need to get the submission form, and you can do that by going to the link in the show notes or the description, or you can head over to our Instagram, and it's in the bio. You can find us on social at IOK Football, but if you click the Linktree link in any of our bios, you will find a link to this. It will say something like football shirt design competition, and there you can go. You can go there, You download the link. Now what you'll get this PDF of like the shirt design or the space where we want you to design your shirt. We want you to get on that, be creative, design your shirt, and then send us the form back and your designs. You can do that to It's Only Kids Football Podcast at gmail.com or DM us on social media. So send the designs to It's Only Kids Football Podcast at gmail.com or DM us on social media. If you're struggling to get hold of the link to download the PDF, just message us on social media. We will get back to you, or just email us and we'll send it to you. But like I say, to reiterate, this will be in the show notes, in the description, and in the link in bio. So you've got 2 weeks to get those entries in. Mm-hmm. After that, the team here, well, I say the team. I'm making it sound like it's far more glamorous than like there's just not some bloke sitting over there.
Yeah, we'll be in LA and we'll be on the yacht.
There is no team. It's me and him and our secret man over there. Yeah. We are going to judge the shirts along with VC. We're going to pick the top 4 designs and then we're going to put that to a public vote. Now, what do you win other than creating something absolutely amazing that everyone will be able to see and getting your voice heard? Your shirt will get professionally manufactured by VC and sent straight to your door. And then the shirt will also hang in the It's Only Kids Football studio. So you're going to be able to sit here in all its glory, and you'll have one for yourself. And then maybe we might give the public the opportunity to get a shirt as well. Sure.
So print it off, do your designs, or you can do it online, whatever you want to do, however you want to design these shirts, but get the kids designing them. And then, VZ incredible with how they do it. We've been to the factory, we've seen how they do it. It's amazing. So come up with some creative ideas.
Also, VC is part of, Discount Football Kits is part of VC, and they've got another offer. So go over to discountfootballkits.com, and if you spend £100 or more on anything from kits to cones to clothing, basically all manner of football equipment and training equipment, go over there, spend £100 or more, use the code IOKFFD, that's code IOKFFD at checkout, get free delivery straight to your door, and you have until midnight on March 31st to achieve the offer. So click the link in the show notes and use the code IOKFFD to claim your offer today. So right down to the business now on the pitch and training on Saturday. So if you wanted a masterclass in how not to put on the first drill, this is it. I did beat myself up a little bit about this on Saturday after, but how I kind of talked to myself around is that it's the first time in a while where a kind of drill hasn't quite worked.
Yeah.
And I will say this, and I know there's loads of coaches out there, the mistake I made is I tried to do it from memory and I didn't prepare myself properly. And so we're playing like a wave game where it goes from, you play 2v2, attack to defense, and then
go on. Carry on as I sip my beer.
The best part of that was watching you. You thought there was some way that you could do that without making a noise. I understand that watching this drill take place forced you into drinking as well. But what I will say, I'm being like straight up and honest because I know coaches have been in this position. I tried to do it off the top of my head and I didn't check the conditions of the drill enough. So you start off 2v2, attack first defense, and then the team that are defending are now meant to go into attack and attack up the other end. Where the confusion came was, if the defensive team win off the attacking team in the first phase of the drill, do they then try and score or is the drill dead?
Yeah.
And I quite like to become in a sort of counter-attacking drill, and that's where the confusion was, because the kids were like, so what happens now? So if we win the ball back and then we shoot and score, now what are we meant to be doing?
Yeah.
And that is where it broke down. That is completely on me. And that is a good lesson for anyone, is that like I should have gone onto the Football DNA app and checked it. And
that's not even a plug on Football DNA.
No.
Oh, no. I think you're right. It's because in my head, because you came around mine before, and we like you drew a little picture of how it would look, and was like, yeah, it makes sense. Makes total sense. Everything sometimes on paper or in your head makes total sense, and then in reality, things go a little bit wrong, and then you got the parents watching probably going on in your head. You got the kids getting all confused, and then you're probably getting a bit confused, and then but you got to have the answers. There's no like, it's like being a teacher at school, and you're getting a spelling mistake wrong. You'd be like, no, actually, that's how you spell it. You can't be wrong ever. And I think that it builds to the point where you're like, oh shit, I can't. How do I admit defeat on this one? But we did, didn't we? We did.
Well, I did.
Well, yeah.
Because he's over in the corner with the kids going, what the fuck is this drill?
He's got no idea.
What's he doing, lads? But after sort of 10, well, it probably wasn't even that long.
It wasn't 10 minutes.
No, like 5 minutes, 5-6 minutes of going wrong. I was like, I don't have time to go and check the conditions of this drill, so I'm just going to do another one. And this was on the Football DNA app, and I had this one locked in because Max Smith talked about that dividing the pitch into thirds. So I went and looked that up, or I looked up the pressing drill on the Football DNA app, and Nick Green, who we've had on, he'd done one, which was, if you want to find this on the app, it's pressing points, 4v4 game, drop off and press high. And basically, I adapted what he'd done a little bit, but it was, you divide the pitch into thirds. We played 5v4. One team had the goalkeeper, 4v4. They shoot into too many goals. The four shoot into the big goal. If you win the ball in your opposition's defensive third, then you get more points if you score because you've pressed the ball and won it. Because I knew this drill, because Mac had spoke about it, we said we wanted to do it, and I'd looked it up. I knew this drill better. And that is why it worked so much more effectively. And I was much happier with how the session went for the rest of that.
Yeah. And it's not saying the other drill doesn't work. It's just that we weren't prepared properly for it. And then we just had to admit defeat. But this one is easier. Let's be honest. It's an easier drill to set up, and it's good. And it gets the ball moving, gets the kids moving. What I loved about it is, from what Max said previously, again, what he said, if you haven't listened to that episode, it was the last one, so make sure you listen to that one. But one of the things he said was, you only talk to your defenders about defending, really. And like, a defender knows he's a defender, but actually everyone on the pitch needs to buy into the fact that they are a defender. And we're very good. Like Fred in particular is very good at that initial wave of press and trying to win the ball back high up the pitch. But then the rest of the game, he probably doesn't. The rest of the team don't really. There's a bit of pressing going on, but in like certain periods of a game, they know, okay, I need to press now. But they should be thinking that at all points throughout the game. And I think that drill is a really good one for that, because you're trying to win the ball back at every point, and the higher up the pitch you win it, the better, the more you're likely to get enhanced points.
And the worst one they're playing against is Oliver, who is like the worst player to play pressing against, because he's fast. He's on you before you know it, and he nicks the ball. He reads what's going to happen quite well. The thing is, the good part about it is that if you don't press as a team, so only one of you goes, and then we were showing the boys that get in behind, one ball kills you. You're completely cut out. So not only are you teaching the boys about pressing, you're teaching the team in possession, how do you play out of the press? And can you see, like, when they don't all go at once, they leave them self-exposed, because that leaves all the players at the back. We're not fully marked up. We're not going man for man. So all in all, I quite enjoyed that. A bit disappointed with myself after kind of, let's say, nearly 3 years of doing this, to be in a position where a drill completely breaks down because I don't have the answers to questions. But that is a valuable lesson that I'm sure all coaches experience, especially when you're kind of doing something that you hadn't done before. Quick break. Before we dive back into the episode, we want to take a moment to help you level up your coaching game with the help of Football DNA, the ultimate coaching platform that's been a game changer for us. What do we love about it? It's super easy to use, saves us loads of time, and best of all, it doesn't just show you how to set up a practice, it teaches you how to coach it properly. And that's the key. The sessions are put together by top level coaches. We're talking first team staff at clubs like Celtic, Crystal Palace and West Ham. Proper pedigree. You get videos, diagrams, full explanations, downloadable PDFs, and if you need it, a full 36-week training plan tailored to the age group you are coaching. Our lads have loved the sessions. It's made our lives easier, improved our coaching, and taught us loads. Now we genuinely look forward to training and developing our players. Check it out at footballdna.co.uk. That's footballdna.co.uk, or you can download the app. Just search Football DNA. Trust us now, and you'll thank us later. I saw this thing that I loved on Instagram, and and it was about like creating overloads. Because I noticed some of the boys getting a little bit frustrated on Saturday, and it's because, you know, they've got an extra player or they've got a goalkeeper, or when we did that little tournament the other day in training, the 3v3, and there was a team of 4, I think it was 4v4. Anyway, one team had more players. They get frustrated with that and they get annoyed, and they're sort of angry at how unfair it was. Well, David Epstein, who's this amazing author, I've read his book, The Sports Gym, but he's got another book called The Range. And then he's got a new book coming out, Inside the Box, How Constraints Make Us Better. And I saw this clip of him on Instagram, and he talks about how Kyrie Irving, who's this like amazing basketball player, I don't know how much you're into basketball, but he's like a street, it'd be like, you know, like a street footballer, like they call it their handles, like he's got amazing skills and stuff with the ball. Well, he started when he was a kid practicing with a broken backboard. So part of his backboard was missing. So he had to work out ways to hit the other part of the backboard to score. Right. So he had to be creative with it, right? Because he didn't have the perfect conditions. And the science behind this is called preclude constraints. And you can use the same principle with your own kids today by simply blocking the way they normally solve a problem and watching what happens. So block the easy path, and you will see their neurons wiring together in real time. Okay. So if you're outnumbered in a match where you'd normally pass, what is your solution? Yeah. Are you going to try and win the 1v1? Are you going to try and do something different? Or like, if you've now got a goalkeeper on your team, how are you going to tackle that situation? So I just thought that was quite an interesting.
That makes sense, right? If you have it easy your whole life, then you're not going to improve. And it's the same with training. If you make things very easy for them, then they're just no way going to improve. You've got to make things a bit tougher. There's the whole point of having certain drills be unfair is that you have to learn and adapt and try and overcome whatever these challenges are. Because in a game, it's not going to be perfect.
So when I said David Epstein, did you think of Epstein Island?
I instantly did, looked over at Alex, and I could feel his sweat coming off his head because he was thinking, oh God, we're going to get cancelled.
That's it, we're finished. Okay, anyway, I hear you say, Michael, yeah. How are we able to have such amazing analysis of our training sessions and matches? Well, let me tell you, Michael, that's because we have the VO Camera 3 and the VO Go.
Yes.
So, before we talk about the VO Go, we use it for the first time at training on Saturday. We are desperate for people to have a VO out there because it's just so much fun watching the games back, or actually quite stressful and annoying.
Depressing and upsetting. Yeah.
But amazing when your kid does something amazing, or the team does. So we got 2 offers from VO. You need to take advantage of these. Get a VO camera for your summer tournaments, for new season. Take advantage of this offer now. So the offer 1 is VO Go, which turns 3 iPhones into an AI panoramic camera system for match recording. Save 50% on the VO Go with the code IOKFVOGO. That's save 50% on the VO Go with the code IOKFVOGO.
The shopping channel.
There we go.
This is the VO Go. All you do, you put your 2 cameras in. You have 1 camera here controlling it. These literally just act as cameras. And then your other phone is there to just basically press record, and this will be on a stand. It is that simple. It's so easy. Much more cost-effective option as well. So if you are on a budget like most grassroots teams, then that is a very good option with a very, very good discount.
And the footage came out pretty well, I'd say.
Footage came out really well.
And right now, a window is going to appear to me, and there's going to be a screen of the training footage. And the offer 2 is the VO Camera 3, which is a 4K HDR camera that automatically records, tracks, and live streams matches. Save £200 on this bad boy.
Save what?
£200 with the code IOKFVOCAM3. That's IOKFVOCAM3. All the details in the description and show notes. So get in there and take advantage of it. Now, we used it ourselves to review.
We did
the footage of our first game of this period, which was a comprehensive win over Leigh Rambles Green. Don't really never feel that comfortable talking about games where we've sort of won comfortably, and that's not like an arrogance or anything like that. It's just, what does anyone learn from it? And we get pumped as well. You know, we lose games, and it felt like a bit of an unfair fight, especially I don't think they'd mind me saying, like, when you play against the mixed ability team, if that mixed ability team is missing their best players, then it does make it very difficult for them.
Yep.
So Tommy is one of their best players. He was not playing due to illness. They haven't really got, although Max went in goal and did some absolutely blinding saves, he's not actually a goalkeeper. So they were massively on the back foot and kind of felt sorry for him. Also, you know what? It was silent weekend. Didn't like it.
No. And I asked Raf about it.
Yeah.
And he was like, what's happened this week? Because I forgot to tell him about it before and warn him. And he was like, what has happened? It was really weird. We scored these goals and we looked over at the parents and they were just like,
yeah. Mate, I didn't like it. When you listen back to it, it's...
Yeah. I didn't really like it either, if I'm honest.
I get it. I get it, but it just...
There's a way around it.
Yeah.
It's not quite right for me. I think everyone just is a bit confused about it. So no one was, because I think you're allowed to cheer and clap, but you can't.
The problem is it's called Silent Weekend.
Exactly.
So if you hear that and you haven't like looked into it properly, you immediately think I have to be silent.
Yeah.
But that isn't the case.
Yeah.
The problem with Silent Weekend is it's called Silent Weekend.
Yeah.
They should come up with a more actively positive slogan for it on name. Anyone at the FA, if you would like me to come up with this for you, I'm happy to go on ChatGPT and come up with some answers.
Don't call your kid a wanker weekend. That's a good one.
Sponsored by NordVPN. So anyway, all credit though to the Greens. I think the first 15, 20 minutes, they were really like, they were battling hard. They were making it uncomfortable for us. And then I just think Dexter was like, yeah, I've had enough of this. That was a proper Stevie G performance. He was that incredible.
Yeah.
And 2 of the goals that he scored were absolutely ridiculous. Like driving through and smashing it, like brilliant finishes. He was really, really good. Also, shout out to Ollie and Raf, who covered us in goal because Albie was injured. But the highlight for me, both of them did a great job. The highlight for me was at half time, I was like, Ollie, come out of goal, mate. Like, get some time on the pitch. And I said, he said to me, who's going to go? He said, who's going to go and goal? And I said, Raf. And he said, oh, don't put Raf in goal. He's rubbish.
And we looked over at Raf because he'd heard and he was like, I am. I don't want to go and goal.
But to be fair,
he was all right, wasn't he?
Raf, he was good at playing it out.
Yeah.
He was like just dropping the ball on the floor and just passing out.
Yeah. Fair play to him, both of them, by the way.
Absolutely.
I know Ollie likes going in goal, but Raf doesn't, and there was no moaning. I was a little bit concerned that, here we go, he's going to kick off, but nothing.
And I thought he did well.
Got on with it, yeah.
He did well.
He wasn't feeling that well, though, so I think that was probably a good thing for us to be able to do. And I know that we talked about the kids that couldn't come because they weren't well for them, but they also had kids that were there that were also not well. There was, I don't know, some sickness bug going around, so fair play for them to actually play, but it was tough.
I did think that as well. Like, I appreciate them kind of making the effort to play the game.
Yeah.
Logan scored again. Like, really great to see him sort of really come on the last few weeks.
Yeah. And
he scores again in the next game that we're going to talk about. And then Freddie got 2 and Ollie got 1. Decent win, decent performance, especially after a few sort of not great results. But like I say, felt like a bit of an unfair fight with them missing certain players. Then, this Sunday, on the dreaded grass, we played Concord Rangers. So to be clear, when we played Concord Rangers on the 3G, 7-3 win, 5-3 win. Concord Rangers on the grass, 7-1 loss, and yesterday a 3-1 loss.
Yep.
Slow start, absolutely give them 2 goals, and that just leaves you a mountain to climb.
Yeah,
and
because we know they're a good team.
Yeah, they are good.
Like, when you go 2-0 down straight away, you're like, oh god.
The thing is, we have come back every time we played them on 3G. That's happened.
Has it?
Yeah. But we've come back into it because then we were able to play our football.
Yeah.
So they played a year up last year. And then they came back down to our level, our age group. And their manager was telling me like that physicality like made such an impact on them physically. And they are hardworking. A lot of them are big. They are strong. They're physical. And I don't want to just kind of label them as that. They play some good football as well. They've got some really good players out wide. The striker, was an absolute pain all day. Like, they are a good team that plays football, absolutely. But they do have that physicality to them.
They do. I was thinking that as well. So that makes sense. I've forgotten that they'd gone up to a different age group. But even because they're not necessarily a team full of big kids, but they do have that physicality.
Yeah.
It's like even the ones that are, smaller.
They battle.
They battle, don't they? They really, really fight for it.
Yeah. So we're 2-0 down. What I will say is I've watched it back, and it is actually more even in that first half than you think. And the overall end stats for the game, we had more shots, more corners, more free kicks, we completed more passes, and the possession was about the same. So it was a lot more even overall than we think. And we created chances in that first half. So, and their goalie made a couple of good saves. He made a really good save from Parker. Parker had another one where he went through. He's probably trying to find his range a little bit, having not played so much recently.
I think that's fair.
But we were 2-0 down. It kind of it's really hard to come back from that.
Yeah.
But what I will say, what I loved is, although we lost, last time we capitulated and got battered. This time the boys fought and battled, and we scored a great goal. Playing out from the back, by the way.
Yeah.
I've watched the goal all the way from back to front.
Good goal.
Really good goal. Logan scores.
Yeah.
And Logan's on a bit of a scoring run at the moment, and it was Parker with the assist, but let's not overlook Ollie's brilliant ball into Parker, and this is a moment to show some Gaza appreciation. Gaza is the nickname we've given Ollie because he's a lunatic off the pitch and a magician on it. He was outstanding all game. The pressing was relentless. He was constantly chasing back and winning possession, and time and again he found himself one-on-one and beating his man to create space and put dangerous balls into the box. His second half was genuinely one of the best performances we've seen all season, and that's why he was our man of the match.
Again, it's another story of chance after chance. They also have chances. They hit the bar. I think a draw was a fair result, would have been a fair result. Looking at the stats and watching the game back, a draw would have been a fair result. We just, same again, silly goals give away. Dominate the ball for the most part, although, like I say, it was sort of 50-50. And we just missed chances. And this was something you and me messaged each other about earlier. It's really reductive to make it about the defence. Because actually, if you watch games, again, I said this to you about Holbridge, we don't give up many chances. Albie doesn't have to make loads of saves. We don't give up loads of chances, but it's that lapse in concentration for 1 second that punishes you. It's like, it's not that we can't defend, it's that we are making errors that give away goals.
Yeah.
And then if we're talking about in all the games that we've spoke about in recent weeks, almost universally across every game, more possession, more shots, more corners, etc., etc. All the attacking phase metrics. We're talking about under-9s football. What am I doing? But all the attacking phase metrics.
Yeah.
What the fuck am I doing? But anyway, they're all in our favour. Okay, this is what happens when you've got a brilliant VO go that gives you a VO camera that gives you all the stats. So that tells you something. Maybe we need to be better at finishing. Maybe we need to make it, take our chances.
Well, we do have a lot. We do create a hell of a lot. And we've got some killers in the team, quite a few.
Yeah.
It just wasn't working. It hasn't really been...
it's the Arsenal thing, trying to score the perfect goal.
Yeah, that is true. And we did speak about this. There's so many chances where we just don't have that shot. And yeah, maybe it's in their head that their keeper is really good and he's going to save it, so it has to be the perfect shot. I don't know. But, from where we're standing, it's like, just get your shot off, because they can smack the ball. They've got fantastic technique, all of our boys. If you can get it on target, you'd like to think it's probably going to go in. Yes, the keepers are fantastic. And that's the other thing that we just need to, we keep finding ourselves saying, is that it seems like their keepers every week have just had blinders every single week.
I think the goalies, I've been having worldies against us. And I just want to stress this. Obviously, the opposition have chances against us.
Yep.
Obviously, the games are close. We're just focusing
these are
on
not
us.
excuses.
Yeah.
We're fine with the loss. It is what it is. And actually, we came away and we said, you said to the boys after the game, be proud of that. You really, really worked your socks off. And they did.
Yeah.
And it was tough for them. It is on the grass, which we'll just touch on briefly. It was on the grass. They're not used to it. The pitch is very different, but they didn't give up. And you're right, in terms of the last time we played them, similar conditions, actually much worse conditions because it's pissing down rain, but they gave up completely, and they definitely didn't this time.
So there are 9 games we haven't won this season.
Yeah.
How many of those have been on grass, do you think?
Of the 9?
Of the 9?
8?
6.
6.
So 6 of the 9 games we haven't won have been on grass.
Yeah. And have the other ones been draws?
No, we lost the team that's beat us on
we
the
lost
3G
against the Blues on
is the
3G.
Blues, and we drew with the Whites on 3G.
All right. So 1 draw, 1 loss, and then
no, 2 losses and a draw have been on 3G.
Okay.
So I think I'd said the other week we're going to concentrate on defending. We're not. We're going to concentrate on finishing. Because when I actually look at it, it isn't bad defending. It's concentration in those. Like when you're playing a close match, you have to be concentrated the whole time. And you've got to take your chances. It's no good scoring loads of goals against teams that we should score loads of goals against. That when the game is tight, you've got to be lethal and stop trying to score the perfect goal. Quick one for the coaches and volunteers listening. If you're sorting kits for a grassroots team, you'll know the pain. It's never as simple as it should be. That's exactly why Discount Football Kits exists. They supply quality football kits at prices that actually work for grassroots clubs. No nonsense, no hard sell, just reliable teamwear that turns up on time and looks the part on match day. From full team kits to training wear for growing squads, everything's built to make your life easier. If you're tired of overpaying or overthinking kits, head to discountfootballkits.com and get your team sorted today. I did feel yesterday was a tough one. I was struggling. I feel loads better today, but like yesterday I was struggling. And the other point on that, and we won't go into it too much, was that there was a group of adults who had their game called off that were by the side of the pitch. And when I say adults, men, like rowdy men, who played for a Sunday league team. And for most of the game, although they were kind of crowded around one corner, so it was like a bit uncomfortable when the kids would, and they shouldn't have been on that side of the pitch anyway, but I'm not super busy about that because, I've had my own problems with standing on the wrong side of the pitch. But when the kids were taking corners, they were kind of they weren't doing anything to the kids. Let's make that clear.
Yeah.
But like for a kid, like there's a load of adults sort of crowded around a corner. Anyway, but for the last sort of 10 minutes when the game was tense and it was kind of like we were pressing and trying to score, they were really cheering on the other team. Now, love that. All for it. Absolutely should 100% cheer them. Those boys would have loved it. But at times it just got out of hand and it was too much. And every kid on our team, it was one where they were shouting for handball.
Yeah.
And it was the refs. So who was reffing, it was his mates who were on the side of the pitch. So he was like bantering them rather than going over and saying, look, can you take it easy? And every boy on our team that came off was like, that was horrible. I didn't like that. Why were they shouting like that? On the one hand, I'm like, I said just to you in the way here, like, my belief is like, look, that's football. You got to deal with it. And that's what happens. And I think you should let them face those challenges and you learn from it. But on the other hand, I felt super guilty because I didn't really think about it, how it would be impacting them. And when they come off and that was the guilt came when they were like,
every one of them was talking about it.
Yeah. And you're like, should I have done something? Now, one of our mums spoke to the ref. The ref apparently did go over and talk to them, but that didn't have any effect. And then we were making it quite clear on our sideline that we're unhappy. No one did anything. I want to make it clear, by the way, Concord manager didn't know them, didn't know they were coming, even said to me after, like, he sort of was like, I'm sorry about that. I didn't know that was going to happen. So I'm not putting it on him. It was the ref's friends, nothing to do with the team. But I don't know what your take was on it.
Yeah, it was really getting on my nerves. I'm not going to lie. As you know, I was getting really annoyed with it because I genuinely don't care where you stand. If you want to stand behind the respect barrier or right next to us, doesn't bother me. But it was just getting a bit out of hand. And then when some of the boys came off, like being substituted, it was the only thing they were talking about. And you could just tell it doesn't take a lot for a kid to be distracted, and it was very distracting. And that's fine as a parent, or as a spectator watching and cheering on, that's fine. But when it gets to the point where it is like 20 big lads screaming at the top of their lungs, it is a bit much. And when it was second half, Albie's in goal, I felt bad for him because he's trying to concentrate on the game and then he's got these lads right next to him screaming and all this. And let's be clear, they weren't screaming anything nasty in any way.
No,
they were
not.
very, very positive, but it was just a bit much. It is a good learning, but I do think moving forward, if that were to happen again, or anyone listens to this and they have a similar thing, just again because they wouldn't have gone into that thinking anything other than they're just cheering on those boys on their team.
Yeah.
But you just got to be a little bit aware of how a group like that and the volume you can make and the certain things you say can affect other kids in a negative way. And they might come away from that thinking, being completely none the wiser, not having a clue. But I think if anyone else is there on that team that knows them or on a different team this weekend and that happens, again, just go over to them and just say, go behind the barrier, and you don't have to be screaming at the top of your lungs because it can negatively affect people.
Exactly. I think it's a really good point. They were not being mean to our boys. They were not saying anything like negative. They were just like over the top proper cheering. Like, like if you was at a game watching Arsenal and someone hit a crunching tackle, you'd be like, "Way!" Like that's basically what they were doing.
Yeah.
They were acting as if they were supporting their own team. And again, we love like that. We love that you do that. But when it's all men that are pretty big and you've got 9-year-olds on the pitch and it's all concentrated in one corner and it's very loud.
Yeah.
I think you're right. They've come away thinking we were just having a bit of fun.
Yeah.
But it was just overwhelming. And in retrospect, like when I was yesterday, I was like feeling mega guilty about it. And I said to you, I didn't even really notice it until you said something to me. Then it was like in my head. And I think sometimes I have a tendency to do that. I'm so kind of focused on what's doing. I don't take any notice of what's going on around me.
Yeah.
I never hear any of the parents shout anything. I'm just kind of completely locked in. So I feel better about it today, but I was really worrying about it yesterday. And
I'd just leave it with like 2 quotes from our boys, just how this can affect a child when they're playing football. One of them said, I won't name who, but he said, Do you think those men would beat up a child? And we're like, oh, bloody hell, really?
They would have beat me up.
Yeah, that probably didn't help.
Sorry, Mike, to jump in. That was the other thing that you and me were discussing on the sideline, right?
Yeah.
Is you were like, I want to go over there and say something. And I said to you, if you go over there and say something, how do you think they're going to react? And I don't know these blokes. They may not have done it. Maybe I'm like casting an unfair judgment. But, being lads, being a man, been in these situations before, my immediate thought is, firstly, if I go over there, I'm 100% getting called a ball twat. Like 100%. If I went there, go, all right, baldy. Like, and then I'm like, then it flares up.
Yeah.
Like, does Alf cry? Like, if they start saying stuff to me, obviously, and then the other thing I said to you is, how many videos have you seen on Facebook where it escalates out of control? People start fighting. It's embarrassing.
Yeah.
Like, and the thing is, once a fight starts, it's like wildfire. Like, I don't think it would have. And maybe if we'd gone over there calmly, they weren't being nasty. I don't think they had nasty intentions.
Yeah.
And I think if we'd gone over there calmly, it would have been fine. But there was that worry for me. It's like, you walk over there, so you go over there, you go, lads, can you take it easy? And they go, ooh. And then you turn away and they're like, hey, Bodie.
It's true.
Yeah. And the thing is, everyone's now laughing at you.
Yeah.
You're going to get angry. Yeah. Alfie's crying. You turn around and you start getting like, well, actually, I wouldn't. I would have just run.
You'd be like that.
I'm sorry. Sorry, I've come over here. Sorry, I'm bald. Sorry, I'm such a little twat. Sorry, my team's shit at losing.
I would have done that too. You'd have come back with your tail between your legs.
You would have gone, oh shit, your pants there, didn't you? I would have been thinking,
chill out, mate.
I would have never gone. You would have been walking back. I would have been thinking, I'm going to help him out here. You'd have walked back and I go, oh, sorry, I shit my pants.
Yeah, I wish you'd gone over that. Then, sorry, the last thing was one of our defenders said, I just want this game to be done now. He said it to Raf. I just want this game to be over with like 10 minutes to go. And it was because of all of that happening. So again, just be aware of that.
GoCardless makes collecting payments simple with automatic direct debit. Membership fees come in on time every month without watching parents dig through their pockets only to find a crisp packet or race into the cash point while you wait in the rain. There's no more, I'll give it to you next week. You can just drop a link into your WhatsApp group and bingo. Payments are sorted. It handles the admin too, automatically keeping track of who's paid, what's outstanding, and retrying any payments that didn't go through, helping your club keep a steady cash flow for pitch hire, kits, and equipment. You can even pause or adjust payments when families need flexibility, keeping your club supportive and inclusive. GoCardless takes care of the money so you can focus on running great sessions and growing your club. First of all, I want to ask you, have you been journaling, Michael?
I did 2 days of journaling in 2 weeks. I'm not going to lie, I tried it. First day, I thought I could get into this. I wrote a little thing in the morning. I wrote a little thing in the afternoon. I sent you a picture of one of the things.
Tried to have sex with a step.
In the evening. That was the morning. In the evening. Got rejected again.
Yeah, what was it? The thing you wrote on the paper, Ben is a dick, or something like that.
Well, that was how I was feeling at the time.
it was something like that, which made me laugh. But yeah.
And then I tried it again, and then I could feel myself just not getting into the habit of it, and I haven't done it since. So I don't know if it's going to be one for me. I might try it again. Because I've jotted down notes all the time for work just for me to just remember stuff. So I think it's more just getting in the habit of it, is it?
I think that I've lost my way of it a little bit.
Really?
And what I do is then I go through I'll have an hour, I'm trying to catch up with it. Right. And it's not effective. I think you have to be consistent and you have to do little bits, because if it becomes a chore, that's when it kind of loses its impact. And it hasn't really been working for me. The recent, and I think it's just because I've completely lacked consistency with it. And it's those little reminders every day. And I just, when you're busy, you're like, I'll do it in a minute. Or you just kind of start scrolling through your phone and you lose focus.
What I did think though was, because I know I just won't keep it up, is maybe just jotting something down before the match or before training.
100%.
And then you just know it's just part of the routine. You put all the balls in the car, you get all the kit ready, and then you write your little thing, what you're thinking before training. And then maybe you do that in the evening, and then you do that before a match and after a match. And then that's something I could probably start doing. So I'll start doing that. I'll let you know in 2 weeks how I get on with that and how many notes I've just written about Ben being a twat.
So it's been a bit of a tough one. We've lost 3 of the last 5. We've only won 1 in 5. And we sometimes get into these sort of ruts, don't we? Mm-hmm. And it can be really difficult because you really start questioning yourself. Lots of worrying about what parents are thinking. So much kind of intrusive, negative thoughts, self-doubt. That's what happens to me. I obsessively think about it. I think about it too much. I'm like, I did this wrong. I did that wrong. Should I be doing this? Is that parent thinking that? Is this team thinking this? Blah, 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 blah. But a few things I saw on social media that I really liked. One was a dad called Nahal, and it was about how his son was about to play his final football match, and as a dad, he was still processing that. He was not ready for it.
Every single weekend, in the sun, in the rain, in the drizzle, in the freezing cold, every single second of it has been worth it. And I wouldn't have traded it in for anything. But it wasn't just the football. It's the journey there, and it's the journey back. The chance to sit together in the car and talk. Get a little window into how he's doing.
And it was an almost Hollywood ending, as he describes, to his time playing for I think it was his school team. He scored a wonderful goal with the last kick of the match to make it 2-0 to the home team. Firstly, I think this bloke's delivering, the way he told the story, it's right in his face. The way, this guy's got a book about communicating.
Yeah.
So he just did it in a masterful way. But you watch that video and you're like, you can get all caught up in this, but in one day this ends. One day this ends.
I'm getting goosebumps.
Yeah.
I loved it. I loved the video.
Yeah.
I think so many people resonated with it. Either at the end of their journey and they've moved on, like we've had a guest on previously, haven't we? And he came on with his son and he was just about to give up coaching the team. Or you got people like us that are in the throes of it, and then you can just see it. And I've been thinking this a lot because our boys are almost getting to that point where they're going into secondary school.
I know.
And that is mental.
I know, it's scary.
It's scary. And then you think of coaching a kid in secondary school, and it's going to be year 8, year 9. God knows how that's going to look. How are we going to coach a 14-year-old? It's going to be mental, mate. And then you blink and it's
gone. It's over. And you get caught up in all this stuff, and you think, that come the end of it, you'll be like, I wish we was there on a Saturday morning getting ready for training and he couldn't find his boots and I was getting annoyed.
Yeah.
I wish we were at training and he wasn't listening. I'd do anything to have that moment back. So you can get caught up in all of that, and the winning and the losing and how good they are and all that nonsense, and me sitting there agonizing. I'm like, what am I doing? I do this for him. It's not like I'd be coaching the team if I didn't have a kid in the team. So I do this for him. So if it means something for our relationship, then that's all I should focus on, because one day it's finished. There was a couple of my main man, Jimmy Carr.
Yeah.
Thanks for tuning in again, Jimmy.
But in fact, everyone just tag Jimmy Carr into any clips that we do. You'll be so confused.
No, I love Jimmy's takes on life. and I don't know what podcast he was on doing this, but I love these two. They are like super, like I say, I'm not into that kind of like rise and grind LinkedIn bollocks, but I do like some ways of framing life. And Jimmy says it on this podcast, it's not the pursuit of happiness, it's the happiness of the pursuit. And you don't get self-esteem from having a six-pack. I would definitely want to know about that. You get self-esteem from being a person who turns up at the gym every day. And first of all, Jimmy, the pursuit of being good at football is not making me happy right now. I don't feel happy right now, but like he talks about also in this clip, he talks about how like if you get given stuff, it doesn't have the same satisfaction as when you've earned it.
Definitely.
So like having stuff doesn't matter. It's working to get something. And thinking about like how the team, you know, when you go through those ups and downs, when you come out the other side or they learn something or they get something or it clicks and they've turned up every week for training and they do all their other training, like that's what gives you value and satisfaction, right?
Yeah.
It's not, you don't get it. It's not the feeling of the result. It's the feeling of what we did to get the result.
Yeah.
If you see what I mean?
But this is why it's so addictive and why so many people love it, is that you could relay that quote about anything you do for your own self personally, like your career progression or building this podcast, and how the sense of self satisfaction that we get from building something from nothing to something. But when you throw in like your kids or just the kids that you're coaching and how they're progressing and gaining self esteem through their performances and just the joy of playing football, it's a drug. It is an absolute drug.
It is, and you get that feeling, that sense of achievement isn't like, it's not the one-off moment. It's looking back on all the things that happened to get you there. And like we've talked loads of times, like, oh, boo-hoo, you got a little podcast. Like everyone was saying, but you know, when we started this and you're basically talking to an empty room.
Yeah.
And you and me are trying
now
to
we've got one bloke in
it. But and there's times where you can't be bothered to do it. You really cannot be bothered. You're like, I've got absolutely no energy for this. But it's that sense of like, when you like get there step by step and you're like, well, it's going quite well now. But at the beginning, you don't have any of that.
Yeah.
You're just like, I need to get to that point. So I think trying to remember that stuff when you're kid, like you're having dips in things that are happening with your kid, like this is all part of the story. And when they come out the other side, it makes it all that sweeter. A few things I wanted to shout out. One, my son Charlie trains with Free Lines on a Thursday night at Lem Forge. Just be clear, I'm not getting any money for this, although I should do if you lot turn up. But I'd love to see more kids there. My son is 5. He's doing really well at Free Lions. Charlie boy got player of the day the other day. He got a little medal. We did a little 3v3 showcase. The coaches are great. I'd love to see more kids over there. It's all selfish because like a lot of the kids are big. I want him to like have a nice group of kids his age that he's challenging himself against. So Free Lions training Thursday night, every Thursday at Lem Forge. Ross and Graham are the coaches. They're brilliant. If you want to know any details, get in touch with me. And the other thing is you're going to have to play the clip here when I said, I don't want to get more than 9 players. I would rather lose games now and give the 9 more game time. Mm-hmm. And I'll stick to that, and I probably won't change it. Yeah, I've changed my mind on that. If there are any 9-year-olds that have gone through puberty, smoke, go to strip clubs, ride motorbikes and drink, if you are a man-child, please get in touch. If you have a criminal record at 9 years old, please get in touch. Because we need some mean machines, don't we?
We do.
So we're looking for a defender. We are specifically looking for a defender that has abnormal growth for his age. Is your child abnormally aggressive and physical?
Yeah.
We want to see him. Or her. Get in touch with us. It's only kids football podcast at gmail.com. That's it's only kids football podcast at gmail.com. Or social media at IOK football. We'd love to.
It's probably worth explaining the league and the level, because we don't want people schlepping it down from Manchester just to join the team.
So we're playing the Seapool West.
Yeah.
Under 9s, but we're going into under 10s. West is the top division. Not my analysis of what the divisions are, but someone in a WhatsApp group for the Essex area put that the West division, some of those teams could compete with teams in Echo B, but it's probably Echo C or Croatia or Brazil, and then it's probably the same level as the top Brentwood League. well, some of the teams in there, not every team. So it's that kind of level. Again, not my assessment of it, what I've had presented to me. Now, grassroots heroes. We love a grassroots hero, don't we?
We do.
We love a GoCardless grassroots hero.
We absolutely do.
And why don't you know what, you talk us through our grassroots hero. You're good at reading off that.
So our grassroots hero this month is assistant coaches Mark and Pete of the Warren JFC under 7s and under 9s. You were nominated by Leigh Clary, manager of both teams. Leigh's nomination comes after a pretty brutal few months on the sidelines. Back at the start of September, he was playing football and attempted a skill that, in his words, his head thought his body could handle, but his body had other ideas. A trip to A&E and an MRI later revealed he'd torn 5 ligaments in his right foot. Do you have 5 ligaments in your foot? Don't even think that's possible. Along with a high ankle sprain. 6 months on, still things hadn't healed. A second MRI showed a fragment of bone had actually broken off his ankle, meaning surgery was unavoidable, and is now facing up to 8 to 12 weeks off his feet. Leigh manages an under 9s and an under 9s team and coaches an under 7s side at the Warren JFC in Bromley. Despite the injury, he kept going as long as he could. But since surgery, he's been completely out of action. That's why he's putting forward his assistants, Mark and Pete, as his grassroots heroes. They first stepped in as drivers and general support at the start of the season, but since then they've gone on much further. They've taken on full responsibility for training and matches, keeping everything running smoothly while Leigh's been on the sideline. They've even carried on a midweek training session he introduced just before surgery, and by all accounts, they've done an incredible job keeping the team going. In fact, Leigh says they've done it so well, he's jokingly been promoted to director of football, and I think he's probably been demoted to get out of our club. We don't need you anymore, Leigh.
Yeah, this isn't a grassroots hero, mate. This is a coup.
Yeah. But that is absolutely incredible. Well done, lads, for stepping up. Hope your recovery goes well, Leigh, and you are 2 very well-deserving winners of our GoCardless Grassroots Heroes.
And I love that. That is where, like, when we talk about like building friendships and stuff like that, you'll always remember that your 2 mates stepped up and did that. And they're volunteers. So
I really wish they had a VO camera and caught that moment, though. He stacked it.
Yeah, I wonder what skill it was. I bet it was really crap. But we want your grassroots heroes. Send us more of your nominations to the It's Only Kids Football Podcast at gmail.com. That's the It's Only Kids Football Podcast at gmail.com. Send us your nominations. It could be anyone who works within the club. It could be a player, a kid who's gone through a hard time and you want to give them a shout. Anything. We want to hear it. If you're involved in running a grassroots football club, the football part is easy. It's the admin that takes over your evenings, weekends, and sometimes your sanity. We're excited to partner with Love Admin, the super simple club management platform designed to take all that admin stress off your plate. Whether you're managing a youth team, a community club, or a full academy, Love Admin helps you run things smoothly without drowning in spreadsheets, WhatsApp groups, and late night payment chases. Love Admin handles memberships and registrations, automatically collects payments on time without you having to chase anyone, keeps all your messages to players, parents, coaches, and volunteers in one place, helps you organise volunteers, and gives you clear reports so you always know what's happening across your club. If your club's been saying there has to be a better way to run this, there is. It's Love Admin. All of these grassroots heroes that get in touch with us, I love it. We're going to go through some listener questions and shout outs. So Ian Cole, he's coaching his lads under 9s team, and he said the pod hits home massively of everything that comes with grassroots football, the stress, the tears, the elation, all of it. He sent in a clip of his son Mason scoring for Rustington, but the highlight is the celebration, clearly inspired by someone he's been watching on social media. We might need some guesses on that one. And here the goal magically appears, but it's a banger. I loved it. Thanks for sending that in, Ian.
We had another message from Richie Hawks. Listens every Tuesday on the train and said it brought back loads of memories from when he was that classic dad coach on the sidelines. His words, trying to be that pep. His son's now playing academy football. He's made it to the point that while it's a different level, it brings a whole new set of pressures for both players and parents. I think listening back on a few of our episodes hopefully will help with that, because we do cover academy football quite a lot.
Andrew Holland, with 20 years in grassroots football and semi-pro coaching, said the pod is a breath of fresh air. and full of common sense, which we'll take that one.
Full of common sense.
Yeah, full of wanking jokes. We also want to give quick mentions to SB. I don't know if I've got that wrong. And Joshua Colson, both for getting in touch saying they're loving the content. We had a message from Mike Jefferson. He got in touch because he was basically saying that he thinks that one-on-one coaching is getting a bad rep. And I see a lot of this on like the Grassroots Hub and Junior Grassroots, like people talking about basically like, it's either like Charlotte and coaches doing 1v1 sessions, or it's people doing 1v sessions, and you're like, what's the point of that? It costs, like, you're spending all this money on it, you're putting too much pressure on the kid, or, you know, is it really good training or coaching because it's unopposed? And, you know, he's basically sort of saying that he feels that there's so much negativity to it, but there's actually a lot of positives to it. And what does he think? He feels like an extra hour focused practice is hard to view as negative, so perhaps the issue isn't 1v1 coaching itself, but the quality and how it's integrated into overall development. I mean, it depends what I think it always depends what's your desired outcome.
Yeah.
And the only way, to me, it doesn't really work is if you're making your kid do it and they don't want to do it, and you're doing it and they have there's no real outcome other than you just kind of putting pressure on them, wanting them to get better, and they're hating it. But if you can afford it, your kid enjoys it, and they're learning the habit of training and whatever, then I don't know, why would anyone care? Like,
I know.
It's a positive,
I
right?
think I genuinely think it's the money side. That's why it gets a bad rap, because some of these one-on-ones are just so expensive, and it's not, you know, it's just not affordable for a lot of parents. And that doesn't mean the one-on-one coaching isn't great. I'm sure some of it is fantastic with some incredible coaches and lots of pedigree and experience. So I can see a lot of the benefit to it. It's ultimately just getting the kids out and playing. You don't have to play with loads of other kids for it to be beneficial, but at the same time, there is a lot of coaching going out there that you're just charging loads of money. How good the coaches are, possibly questionable. So yeah, but you get that with loads of different.
Exactly, that's anything, right? There are people out there taking liberties who ain't very good, but if you do your research, you've got a good coach, your kid has a good relationship with the coach, then why not? Like, I kind of don't really see what a big deal is. Just to shout out to our number one super fan, Callie Gallant.
Love her.
Big up yourself in Canada, Nova Scotia. But she, you know, that guy who messaged in and said he used ChatGPT and it gave his kid feedback.
Yeah.
So she tried it and it was really good. Again, so she put some clips in there and it gave great feedback to her son. And she thinks it's like fantastic that kids have got the option to use this. And I sort of watched the clip and I read the feedback. It's pretty bang on.
It's quite good.
Yeah, it's pretty bang on.
Do you know, I did that with a golf swing.
Did you?
And it just said, "You're shit at golf." So again,
you do not play golf.
I'm trying to play golf, and that has knocked me back a lot. Rich Stoner had a question for the pod.
Rich Stoner's a Leigh Rambles coach, by the way.
He is, yeah. He's messaged a few times, isn't he? He's coming up to that transition from 5-a-side to 7-a-side next year and wants to know how we found it, what changes, what catches teams out, and what should coaches be preparing for.
Mine would be fatigue, so bigger pitch, and longer match. The matches are longer, and just a lot of wide open space, and so there's a great benefit to it. More time on the ball. There's actually room for passing. There's probably less individualism in 7-a-side, but you know, you're asking kids to now understand sort of a bigger, if you want, geographical, like the landscape of the pitch. So there's more area that you've got to cover and understand what you're doing. And the positioning, my advice would be, which what we did, do loads of friendlies over the summer.
Yes.
Just keep doing them, and make sure that you're ready. Don't let it catch you out. Go on Football DNA app. There's loads of drills on there. Also go on YouTube as well if you want. I use YouTube to talk about sort of formation, all kinds of stuff. The retreat rule is another one that caught us out because the distance is so much bigger. Yeah. So like, do you want everyone to push up or not? Do you want them to hold their position? Plan out from the goal kick. All this stuff. Research it. Do the work. Do friendlies over the summer. Be prepared.
Yeah, can't really add much more to that. It's just it felt like a completely different game, and it worked so much better for us. So it's brilliant when you go up. Five-a-side's got a lot of benefits. Seven-a-side for me, we just preferred it so much. But yeah, just be prepared for it. I think that fitness element is such a good point. It's just not really something we think about too much now, but certainly at the start of the season, those that had friendlies were far better equipped for when the actual season started.
So Matt Lowry's been coaching over in Ireland with years of experience across different age groups and ability levels, and he said he really enjoys how we tackle the tough topics, especially equal game time and mixed ability squads. He pointed out that in Ireland, clubs often handle that very differently, so it's been interesting hearing our thoughts and perspective. And it also sounds like he's got some unbelievable stories from the sidelines. Well, send them in, Matt.
Yeah.
Because we want them.
An anonymous listener who said that they've got a classic grassroots headache from an under-8s coach with a massive talent split in his six-player squad. He's got 4 lads playing at Chelsea pre-academy level who absolutely hammer teams. But because he sticks with equal playing time, the 2 less experienced kids get left in the dust and the team ends up losing games they probably shouldn't. As both coach and dad, he's wondering, is it actually better for everyone, development and enjoyment-wise, to split the group up so that top kids get tested at higher league and the other kids can actually get on the ball in the lower division? Or is he overthinking it?
I mean, how many times have we had different variations of this? Again, it's like, it's all context and nuance of your situation. Do I think kids will, first of all, the development curve is not like linear. It's, they all develop at different times and kids get better at different stages. We've seen it with teams and players in our league. Like, you just kind of, it does require a little bit of level of patience. Obviously, sometimes the gap is so big and you can kind of instantly tell that there's no closing that gap. But if it's just basically, it'll come down to your ambition and what you want to do. If you want to push your kids on, there's nothing wrong with that. Do I think a kid will have more enjoyment and success if they're playing in a team where they're more likely to be the sort of top end of their ability level? Yeah, they will. But if they're happy in that team, you're happy coaching them, the other boys are happy and everyone's enjoying it. It's all about what that division is and what the different sets of parents want, right? It's the impossible question to answer.
Yeah. It's true. But I think you're right. The main thing is, don't make any knee-jerk reactions and changes, because your kid might be exceptional 1 week, 1 year, and then might drift away the next year, and that's absolutely normal. Or vice versa. They might be, floundering in a team, and then all of a sudden they're the key player. So things happen all the time and they change, especially at the younger ages. So don't make any knee-jerk reactions, but at the same time, your kid best and you've got to do what's right for them, but absolutely ask them what they want.
So Dan Gage, another one of our big up yourself, Dan Gage, he's a regular listener. So his team had this big game rematch with a team in there, I think, is it within their club or like a rival. And I did reply to him rather than just replying on here, but he wanted some advice about, he didn't want the boys to overthink it or get nervous. Like, what should you do for the team talk? Obviously, we've talked a ton about team talks. My advice was, obviously, 1, don't talk for too long, and keep it interactive and focused. So, we ask, how do you want to feel how do you want to feel at the end of the game? What do you need to do to get that feeling? Emphasize the effort and teamwork are what you reward and be happy with, not the outcome or the result. And then it's like setting simple targets, working hard, encouraging teammates, and staying involved in the game. Like, ask a kid, what do you like doing in the game? Anything they say, tackling, dribbling, shooting, whatever. What do you have to do? But you've got to work hard to do those things, because if you don't work hard, then you're not going to get the ball and you're not going to be involved. We always put little stuff in the WhatsApp group, just some targets for the kids, so that all through the week, their parent or the night before in the morning can relay to them what we want them to do. But they're not some big simple. It's not some big sort of strategic
4 or 5 words.
Yeah, it's like try to win the ball back in 3 to 5 seconds when you lose it, and when you get on the ball, what can you create? We're not going into tactics here. We just want a kid will understand that, and they'll hopefully try and do it in the game. But these team talks definitely are. I do think as you get older, I've been thinking they can respond a little bit better to sort of the more emotional stuff. You know, we've tried that in the last few weeks, lost both games.
I also think it's really difficult for us because we coach our team, but we haven't coached any other teams, and every kid is so different. If you've got kids that respond best to, I don't know, just constantly doing superhero quotes or something else, you know, you'll understand how to get the best out of them, and that will take a bit of time, and you probably will go through a bit of trial and error of saying something and them just calling you a twat and you lose the game. And then you have other weeks where you say something you think actually they might have actually listened to that, and then just try and build on whatever works.
But we love all those questions. We love all the shout outs. So we want to hear more from you. It's Only Kids Football Podcast at gmail.com. That's It's Only Kids Football Podcast at gmail.com. Get in touch. Send us anything. Well, not anything. I want to make an inappropriate joke, but we've had enough of those in this episode.
Also, actually, Dan Gage, he found your journal, didn't he? He found it. I couldn't believe that. He actually found your journal.
Yeah, obviously,
here it is.
We're going to show that picture now. What was contrasting was what the exterior of it looked compared to what the content in that notebook may have been. Anyway, get in touch on social or on email. So, Mike, before we wrap this up, there's 5 games left of the season, which I brought to your attention yesterday.
And what did I say?
You said, thanks fuck for that, but I know I'll miss it when it's gone.
Yes,
and
I will.
I feel like that pretty much encapsulates my sentiments exactly.
Yeah.
A kind of, it's the kind of exhaustion, the mental exhaustion of like always thinking about it and stuff, that I'd quite like a break from that. But as soon as that Saturday or Sunday comes and it's not there.
Imagine if it's never there.
I know, but this is that clip that we showed earlier. Like, don't wish it away, man, because it will be gone before you know it.
Yep.
That's it for this week. And if there's one takeaway, it's that whether you're winning comfortably or shooting yourself in the foot, it's all part of the journey. To all the coaches and parents out there, if you're in the middle of a tough run, just remember to stick together. Don't be too hard on yourself. We're all learning this on the fly. Use the community to vent, share your ideas, or find solutions. We're all in this together. And if you do have any ideas on how to help us get out of our slump and learn to play on grass, please do send them in, because by God, we need some help. So until next time, keep it fun, keep it positive, and remember, it's only kids football. If you enjoyed the podcast, please take 2 seconds to hit the subscribe button and turn on notifications so you don't miss future episodes. And if you want to check out our previous episodes, just click here.